Well, welcome to the Paragon Mill. This is the site of a mill near Murray, Idaho. I mean to come to this spot for a couple of years for many reasons, but mostly because of things like this. And the fact that a mill site was built right into the hillside here is quite awesome. I'm just going to be getting up the hill here. It's right along the creek bed. Can't even see what I'm pointing at. There we go. Right along the creek bed. Lots of metal and concrete remains. A lot of poles and foundation material. A lot of old cut wood as well here. Mostly the remains of a rather large and actually rather large for the area mill. There were far more important mills and mines in the area, but this gulch was not filled with super productive spots during its heyday. But I've come out to kind of take a look and see what's here, see what remains. So I'm on a solo trip today. Not really planning on getting underground, but definitely wanted to check all this out. There's plenty to see, it looks like. So we're going to climb on up there if I can and see what we can see. And I'm barely up the pile, and a good amount of possible silver ore. I think these were mostly silver mines of this specific gulch in this area. A bunch of rocks with that sort of silver sheen as I'm climbing up here. Alright, well it does appear that I've screwed myself here. This is a far steeper field of talus than I thought it would be. And the mill is now over that ridge, just over that way. So I'm going to see if I can get down this and hopefully just really get anywhere. Because I know there's a road going up the gulch / canyon that way. I'm going to see if I can catch that and scoot around and maybe find a trail, because I know the mine is just that way. So we'll do that real quick because I'm wearing myself out and sweating a lot more than I should just climbing all this. Hopefully we'll find the mine in just a minute. Well, I've walked a little bit further down the actual road. Yeah, I know, squirrel. I walked a little further down the actual road in the middle of Paragon Gulch. And I'm seeing a bunch of foundations. There's some off in the distance there. There's some right here. And I've got to somehow get around all this mess to get up to the mines. So someone did come through here in the last year or two probably. Oh man, there's the mine. Probably a logging surveyor or something like that. But this road is in dire need of a lot of rehabilitation before any trucks come down it again. So with the mine right there, you can't actually see anything, it's way too bright. So with the mine right there, I'm going to be seeing what I can do to get to that. And then I'll kind of go from there, because this might be the only accessible line if the rest of the road looks like this. Ugh, I hope it's not the only accessible one, because there's like 3 or 4 of Paragon Gulch here. And a couple might still have stuff in the waste rock pile, so gonna be seeing what we can do. Alright, so it seems nearly impossible that I did, but I've come through there. And it's just, it looks like half of all the trees right next to the road are down on top of it here. So I think I'm only going to see the one mine today, which really disappoints, but there must have been some big, like, burst of wind up here that I don't remember hearing about, because it's like, it seriously is like every other tree is just down from the right side of the hill onto the road. So I'm going to skip over to the mine that's just through here. You can kind of see the waste rock pile just through that tree there. And let's see what I can do, because this one shouldn't be too difficult to get to. Just got to go down this little bit of creek side here and then climb up that if I can. It looks like it's going to be just as tough as the mill. It's like, holy shit, black flies out here are huge and continually coming after me. It's weird. Alright, we're going to go up there and see what we can find. A few bones on this little rock pile here. Couple back there. There's the Paragon Mine, otherwise known as the Chicago-London Mine. Probably named based on where its owners were located or something like that. A lot of weird mine names like that in the area. Very impressive waste rock pile. Right in front of a creek. Now I can pretty much guarantee this one's not going to be open. Most of all because of just how much is overgrown the pile. But we're still going to check everything out. God, the flies and the bees are persistent around here. Sorry bees, I know you're drinking. Not here to disturb you. Someone has been through here relatively recently though. Left orange tags. Over there. Believing we can make it up this. Now that I'm halfway up the pile or so, I can show you guys what the minerals they were looking for and looking in are. It's a really large pile, lots of stuff remaining actually still. So I shouldn't have thrown it away, but I think I found a piece of sphalerite here, which is a zinc sulfide. But then there's also large portion of these intrusions. A good word for it. These intrusive developments. Oh, I shouldn't turn sideways for you guys. These intrusive elements, mostly quartz, contain the silver and gold minerals that they were after in this mine. I believe it's mostly silver, if I remember right. Not a lot of records of these mines online, so yeah. But there's also been a lot of really heavy, oh my gosh, that's heavy, really heavy rocks filled with pyrite that look a lot similar to this one. So the yellow area there, right in the middle, there's a lot of pyrite right in the middle of that. And I don't know, there's a lot of different pyrites by the looks of it. A lot of the more typical yellow pyrite with some silverish stuff that looks like pyrite. I believe it to be arsenopyrite. I'm not 100% sure. It just looks very similar. So there's lots of those rocks with all sorts of tiny, really tiny pockets of pyrite, of the different types of pyrites in there. You can definitely just see the mineralization on these rocks is quite spectacular. I imagine this was a fairly high-grade mine, considering how much rock they pulled out. Now, I don't know official size figures, but I know they had, I think, 3 or 4 levels. I know one level goes beneath this one here, the one that's up there. And I believe, just based on the size of this rock, that it would have had to have been several thousand feet of tunnels and winzes and lots of stoping. I imagine it was a very long vein, or long series of veins, just from the amount of intrusions of material like that quartz right there, and different other things here. Quite the interesting spot. Scoot a little further over. This pile is not safe or secure at all. It's a difficult one to climb up to. Here's another rock that likely contains a good amount of pyrite. Now, all I know that here is there's a large amount of iron and sulfur in this rock. I can't say whether it's too much pyrite or anything. This one specifically is quite light for those rocks that look like that. Most of the ones that are that color, that combination of really dark iron and sulfur, that specific really dark red to yellow combination, like this one here even, those ones are very often very heavy. There's a lot of mass there, there's a lot of weight to them. And you can see just how many litter the side of this rock pile here. It's a really interesting site. I wager, because I did find a couple really small examples on the way up, I wager if you, there's been a lot of rock falls I climbed at this, so I wager if you dig, probably at the bottom of the, oh my god, it just slips out from under me every time. I wager if you dig from the bottom of the waste rock pile all the way along, that there is a very good chance that there's actually a lot of pyrite still in this pile. I can actually see a piece that I missed just down there, kind of in the middle of your screen. That's the yellow and red and deep rust color that I've been talking about. Because that is just, that's got to be full of pyrites right in there. I can believe I missed it on the way up. Yes, I scooted to the side of it there. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you this little report from halfway up the rock pile, because actually it's probably a little bit more than halfway. But anyway, enough of pedantry. Come on. This rock pile is awesome. There's lots of minerals still in here, and I'd wager not a small amount of gold and silver. I don't think the miners got all of it, and I think they were really going after just the high-grade stuff, so this is probably a pretty good spot if you want to come looking for pyrites and possibly sphalerite, and certainly lots and lots of sulfur and iron mineralization. So I'm going to continue climbing. We'll be up there in just a second. Alright, well I have now made it to the top of the waste rock pile for the Chicago, London, or Paragon Mine. And it is a interesting and overgrown bit of land here. There's water flowing from the top, so I think the attic is just over that way. We're going to check that out in just a second though, because I want to see this, especially on video. Over this way is heading towards the mill that I tried climbing up to earlier, and I did not make it. So I want to know how they did it. There is some cable that almost looks like tram cable, but there's no obvious tram towers or anything. It's just these boards that probably were floorboards or something. Probably used to be a building up here. I'd be almost surprised if there wasn't. The cable does head down the hill like that. And over that way is towards the mill, and I'm not seeing like a pathway or anything. Unless it used to be a trestle or something. Not much of one remaining. So, check over here now. The attic is supposed to be. Just want to see if there's anything that even remains here. I saw a really tiny rail spike on the way up. There definitely had been rail up here at one point. There definitely is no longer. Ooh, that's some calcified water. Oh my gosh, kid, just realized you can't see anything. So, there's some calcified water coming out of the mine. It seeps right into the waste rock pile here. And it is muddy. Only right here though. So, yeah, there's the old adit. It is definitely collapsed now. Right through in there. Probably could be dug out by a few determined people in a day or so. There's not a whole lot preventing it. There's some trees growing in the adit over there, but none growing on top or anything. As long as the ground is still good, could theoretically be done. And along here is the rest of the waste rock pile as it sits. And I think that's the access road is down this way. I just want to see if this side, that all the trees collapse onto it too. No. It looks like this one's in far worse shape. Oh, that's a good sign. There's a bone right there. So something came up here to eat and possibly to drink. And eat. So I'm gonna stop going this way. Ow. Sharp twigs. So there's a couple adits further up the mountain for the Chicago London mine, almost directly in line with this adit. But I can guarantee that they're all closed up, so not too interested in finding out what's up with them, because if they're all closed up, then there's nothing really to see. So I'm trying to walk off the muddy bit here. There we go. Well, some drill bits looks like here. Only a couple other things though. So there's just not a whole lot left of the Chicago, London, or Paragon mine. They had way too many names in the past. Or this might be the lower Paragon, I don't know. I have to do some research on all this. Really interesting set of mines in this valley, and really it was a beautiful hike up here. For all that half mile it is from the highway and climbing up this monstrosity, it was. So, I want to thank you all for joining me, and I think it's either a rock or a dead deer down there, so that's something I'm going to avoid. So, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope to catch you all at another mine soon. Thank you for joining me.